This segment of the CU podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. And above the belt, Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you with the best tools for your grooming experience. Pat, I know that we've been sitting around in quarantine, but it's summertime. We maybe have been lazy, but you know what? It's time to clean up. We don't need all that extra hair right now.
No.
Okay? Get yourself aerodynamic.
You don't want swamp taint
and ready for summer.
No, you don't. Look,
okay?
And they got the Lawnmower 3.0 to help you do that. Check it out, Ian. LED light to guide you down that path of cleanliness. It's waterproof in the shower. Listen, everyone out there. Men out there, you know you try to groom, but it can be dangerous with a straight edge. It can be a little hairy, part of the pun with the straight edge.
I have, in fact, nicked myself before, and it is a pain that is long-lasting and deep. This has a special guard that will keep you safe.
Absolutely, and it has the quiet stroke technology on top of that. Yes, you don't want to get an ingrown hair on your twig or get razor burn on your berries. That can be a bad situation.
You really got to be careful around your cod and cabbages.
Absolutely. So that's why Manscaped, the Lawnmower 3.0, will get you to that promised land. You'll thank yourself. Your significant other will definitely thank you for being a little clean down there. And, there's no shame in taking care of yourself. Absolutely. Correct, Ian?
That's absolutely right.
So we got a special offer right now.
We do.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code CUPodcast at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping with code CUPodcast at manscaped.com. Ian, your balls are going to thank you. All right, Ian, we're knee deep into Nintendo World Championships carts news the past.
My favorite. I'm so excited.
Of this new NWC is going to be up for sale?
Yes.
It's the Mario NWC cart.
Do the Mario.
It's arguably the most famous NWC cart. And why is it called the Mario?
Because someone pulled the label off and wrote Mario on it.
They scraped off they wrote Mario. And we don't know when it was written or if it was one of the original 90 competitors. We don't know what number it is because it's ripped off the number.
Yeah.
There's something adorable about the Mario NWC cart. This goes back when these used to be on NWC carts 10 years ago, 11 years ago. We're on eBay almost all the time. There was a gray one up for sale. And you can almost find the Mario NWC cart for sale because it was ridiculous how they'd want the same amount of money for that one or close, being that it's a destroyed copy. There's another one that also doesn't have a label, but that one isn't called the Mario one because it's not written on like this one.
I mean, whatever. I mean, collecting aside, all that aside, I mean, what I will say is that I kind of like cartridges that have stories like this. Like if I have, I talked about it on Twitter recently, if I have a choice between a clean copy of a Game Boy game and a copy that has someone's name and age written on it or something, I kind of like that shit. Or the one I actually had, received for my birthday or something on the back of it.
Sure.
I think there is something cute here because I can see what happened here. Label gets peeled off, someone pops it in. They finally get it to do something, and they find Mario. They write Mario.
It's like a 7-year-old,
right? It's a 7-year-old or a parent who had no idea what the fuck this shit was, and
that's not a parent's handwriting. So they're a serial killer.
I don't know, man. My handwriting is pretty bad. But I do. When something is as rare as an NWC cart, and none of them are in particularly good condition, I understand that this one should go for a lower value. But I think there are people like me, I'm not going to lie, if I were to ever own an NWC cart, and I'm not even interested in it, sure, maybe I would like the Mario one. I might find that kind of cool.
I thought it was cool.
Why not?
I took a picture with it.
I gotta find that picture. There's probably a neat story behind it. I would be fine with that cartridge.
Well, the story is a kid peeled the label off and they wrote more. That's the story. It's just we don't know obviously what number it is. Like I said, if you go on the NWC database, if you will, you'll see all the
if you will
the several dozen. Don't know why we put the
out of nowhere.
I don't know, but anyway, there's the several dozen of these that are accounted for at this point, and you can find there's 2 or maybe 3 without labels, but this one is called the Mario one affectionately, and it's always been around. People have always known this one. But anyway, so this is for sale off of Facebook. James Lee is selling it along with the NWC hat, which I do want that hat. I wish I had that hat. I should have got it years ago when it was like couple $100. The NWC hat, and the program included 50 grand or best offer. And of course, this comes in the heels on the sale we spoke about, where allegedly or reportedly it went for around 40, the one with the ripped off label on the top. There. So now people are starting to say, let's see what we can get right now with all this craziness going on. And I don't know, maybe someone will cash in and buy this. Maybe they think, if this ever came up on Heritage Auctions at the Gavel, and they said, this is the acclaimed Mario NWC, I would laugh my ass off. I would laugh, because it is known in the retro game community. It is.
Yeah.
It
has some sort of notoriety, and I think it is looked at fondly. Also, because it has, as you mentioned, it is one of the more known copies in terms of just how long it's been around, too.
Yeah, because the other ones, it's like, well, do you remember if number 212 was around or 7? Like, you have no idea what the numbers are.
Sure.
I forget what my number is sometimes. I'm like, oh, it's 200 something. There's no notoriety with that alone, unless you have direct providence from one of the 90 NWC finalists, which there are some.
That it was theirs.
Yeah, there are some, but there's less than you think of those 90 that have providence. It's hard to know. Someone on Twitter I went back and forth with. They said, like, they claimed, like, oh, that it was staged. The yard sale fine was staged, and I was like, there's no reason to stage
that.
There's no reason to do that. I mean, it's going to sell no matter what. It's one of the most coveted video games.
Why would?
But it's hard to get providence on these. Like the one that was turned into Luna that I now own, we have no idea if that was one of the 90 finalists, or it was an employee that gave it to someone, or we have no clue where that came from.
Absolutely zero knowledge.
So if there's no providence, the interest level goes down. Again, but for these, the providence doesn't matter as much because there's not that many of them. But I don't know. Maybe someone will give a crazy offer. Maybe someone will say, I'll give you 30 for it, and then they take it, or 35. I don't know. But let's put it this way. I think I would rather own this one, though, than the one we just saw sold with the rip top label.
Absolutely.
Off. I think I would.
Because that's just one with the rip top label. This is a funny one that has Mario written on it, and people... No, yes, I agree.
Yeah,
I would
technically, that one would grade, whatever, a 4. I know you hit the grade, but that would grade higher than this one. But they're both in terrible condition.
They're both in terrible condition. I'd rather have this one in terrible condition than the other one in terrible condition.
Because it's almost like...
Hands down.
It's almost of the time. They might have wrote that Mario in 90 or 91 or 92.
Yes.
Like they wrote it back then.
Yeah.
Or it was an employee's son or daughter that ripped off the label because they're a stupid kid, and the label's coming off anyway probably because they're so cheap, and they decided to write Mario on it. And you can't be pissed at them because they're 6 years old. It's like, oh, what did you do? It's a dumb game. It's not worth anything.
Yeah.
You know, so. All right, that's all I'm going to say about this. I just think it's funny. You know, we might see more of these come for sale with everything going on, and people get their fill of NWC cards. You know, all the speculators out there. I'd be really interested to see what the next one goes for on Heritage Auctions with all the crazy going on, and I'll be really interested to see if a gold one is ever put on to see what that craziness goes for, because I can't even predict what that would go for with all the money floating around out there right now.
Yeah.